The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Bir iki dakikaya başlayacağız. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz tekrar. Netmotion'la yaptığımız webinarımıza hoş geldiniz. Kimler var bu webinarda? Asıl sunumu Netmotion'dan Açilevis yapacak. Öncesinde ben kısa bir Sentra tanıtımı yapacağım. Ben Osman Keleş, Sentra Satış Direktörüyüm. Açi, we are starting.
Okay, can you see the screen okay?
Yes, we can see the screen. The next slide, please. Sentra Bilişim 2012 yılında kurulmuş, mobil güvenlik ve veri güvenliği alanında dikey uzmanlığı olan bir firma. Ana ofisimiz İstanbul'da, Ankara'da bir ofisimiz var. İnşallah pandemi süreci normalleştikten sonra aktif edeceğiz orayı da. Toplam 15 çalışanımız var. Dediğim gibi ana alanımız, ana faaliyet alanımız mobil güvenlik ve veri güvenliği. Next slide, please, Aşin. Şimdi bu çözümleri kısaca üzerinden geçelim çözümlerin. Veri güvenliğinde veri keşfiyle başlıyor verinin hikayesi. Sonra bu keşfedilen veriyi sınıflandırıyoruz. Veri sınıflandırma var. Bu verilerin gerektiğinde maskelenmesi ve şifrelenmesi, süresi biten, imha edilmesi gereken verilerin geri dönüşümsüz silinmesi, şirket içinde, kurum içinde dolaşan, işlenen verilerin govern edilmesi, yönetilmesi, veri erişim yönetişimi, DLP, CM, IDM, IAM, buradaki ana çözümler. Bunların üzerine e-mailden gelen saldırılardan, zararlılardan kurtarmak için kurumdaki çalışanları eğitmek üzere phishing simülasyonu. Tabii pandemi sürecinde herkes aynı modda uzaktan çalışma, uzaktan toplantı yapma, burada şu anda yaptığımız gibi webinarlar için çözümler. Okullar, kurum için eğitim çözümleri ve Learning Management System, LMS çözümleri. Fiziksel alan güvenliği ve collaboration ürünleri buradaki ana işlerimiz. Mobil tarafta da tabii ki buradaki ana oyuncu, ana iş MDM-MAM, Mobile Device Management ve Mobile Application Management çözümü. Bunların toplamı olan EMM, hatta bir adım daha ötesi Unified Endpoint Management oldu artık bunların toplamı. Unified Endpoint Management çözümlerimiz. Sanal desktop, sanal application VDI çözümlerimiz. Tabii threatler, tehditler sadece desktoplarda yok, mobil cihazlarda da artık zararlı yazılımlar ve tehditler var. Bunları güvenlik altına almak için çözümler. Bugünkü konumuz olan güvenli bağlantı sağlamak ve trafik optimizasyonu çözümleri, ki Netmotion buradaki karşılığı içinin, ve e-mail güvenliği, mobil taraftaki güvenlik çözümlerimiz. Bunlara paralel üst tarafta yaygın olarak yaptığımız iş çözümlerimiz de var. Bunlardan en önemlisi, en önem verdiğimiz çözümlerden birisi üniversite ve kampüs çözümleri. Tabii bu çok niş bir alan. Uçtan uca bir kampüsün tüm IT altyapısının tasarlanması, bunun ihalesinin, alımının yapılması ve bunun uygulanması, projenin yönetilmesi uzmanlığımız var. 2 tane yurt dışında, bir tane Türkiye'de, toplam 3 üniversitede bu uçtan uca çalışmayı yapmış durumdayız. Tabii BT danışmanlığı, KVKK danışmanlığı, diğer yaptığımız danışmanlık iş çözümlerimiz. Next please, next slide please. Açın. Tabii bunları anlattıktan sonra bu çözümlerin ürün karşılığı da bu tabloda. Veri keşfi, veri şifreleme, maskeleme tarafında Mikrofocus çözüm ortağımız. DLP'de ForcePoint ile çalışıyoruz. Mobile Threat Management'ta Lookout, güvenli veri silmede Blanco, IDM IAM çözümünde Okta, MDM-MAM Unified Endpoint'te Citrix ve Airwatch, Data Access Governance ya da veri erişim yönetişiminde Stealthbits, fiziksel alan güvenliğinde Impixon, bu da enteresan bir çözüm. Ayrıca bir webinar yapmayı planlıyoruz inşallah bununla ilgili. Veri sınıflandırmada Titus ve Bolden James. Bugünkü konumuz olan VPN ve trafik optimizasyonu çözümünde Netmotion. Uzaktan eğitim, webinar ve uzaktan toplantı için LogMeIn. Biliyorsunuz GoTo ailesi LogMeIn ailesine katıldı artık. Phishing simülasyonu ve e-mail güvenliğinde Barracuda. Bir de tabii uzaktan çalışmaya artık alışmaya başladık. Normalleşme olsa bile bu yeni normalde muhtemeldir ki bir kısım çalışanlar, kurumlardaki bir kısım çalışanlar uzaktan çalışmaya devam edecekler. Tabii bunlar bilgisayar yoğun çalışan insanlar ise eğer, bunların performansını ölçmek de artık bir konu olacak, olmaya başladı daha doğrusu. bu daha da yoğun konu olmaya başlayacak. Burada da yerli bir çözüm olan Berkun iş ortağımız. Berkun uzaktan çalışanların performansını ölçen bir yazılım. Son olarak da iş yaptığımız, referansımız olan müşterileri göstererek sunumu tamamlayacağım ben. Next slide please, Açı. Bunlar da iş yaptığımız müşterilerimizden bir kısmı. Genel itibariyle büyük müşteriler, değişik sektörlerden, değişik alanlardan müşterilerimiz var. Şimdi sunumu yapmak üzere Açı'ya devrediyorum sözü. Teşekkür ediyorum katılımınız için. Umarım verimli bir webinar olur. Açı, it's your turn. You can start. Thank you for your attending.
No problem. Thank you very much, Osman, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for attending this webinar, and thank you to the Sentra team for allowing us to present. The idea really is to go through a very high-level overview of Netmotion and its technology. If you have any questions, then please ask them in the chat window or at the end of the presentation, and then feel free to engage with Osman and the team and ask them any questions that you have around the technology. So thank you very much. Netmotion Sentra is a relatively new relationship for Netmotion. We know some of the people at Sentra from previous roles that we've had, but really happy to be working both with Sentra, but also importantly really for us now as we expand the organization to have a presence in Turkey. So that is great. So a little bit about Netmotion. Some people may have heard of the company. Most people will not know that we are very old, relatively speaking. So 19 years. In January of next year, we'll be 20 years in the IT sector. We have 7 offices around the globe. Our head office is in Seattle, but more importantly, we have a presence in Frankfurt, in London, and outside of the US. So we are truly a global team. We have almost 4,000 customers now in total, millions of licenses deployed across the world in numbers of different verticals, and we will show you some of those verticals a little bit later. But one of the key things about the technology is we are loved by both our customers and their customers. So it's really important that our partners are happy and that their customers are happy. And the reasons why really are around the technology and the level of service that us and our partners like Sentra provide. So just to give you an idea, so our customers renew, 97% of our customers renew every single year with us. So from a business perspective, it's a very solid business. We still have some of the customers that we had when we first started in 2001. An example of that would be from a scale perspective that we control 4 of the 5 top airlines in the world. A lot of police forces in the US, very relevant now given some of the trouble that's happening out there, but also in the UK and in other areas in Australia, for example, we have a presence in police forcing and within the military. But also things like logistics. So we work with a lot of port companies, transport companies, logistics companies, and you can see some of the names there. UPS, American Airlines, Hertz, the Delta as an airline. So a very varied list of customers, and I'll show you more about the customers a little bit later. But most importantly, is for us certainly is what our customers and our partners think of us. So some of you may know NPS, but NPS is a measure of a technology company taken as feedback from its customers. So NPS will phone our customers without telling us and ask them what they think about our technology. And if you look at our score, 91 is probably one of the best in the world From all of the technology companies that you can think of, including the likes of Apple, Microsoft, SAP, our score at 91 is excellent, and that's why customers keep coming back. So, as I said, it's a technology that everybody loves. Technologies that employees love because it works. It doesn't require a lot of intervention from the user. The technology is applied and it works. But also from our competitors market, so the Pulse, Imperium, Zscaler, Intune, and Mass 360, the kind of organizations that may be playing in the same field as us, but in the category, we are highly regarded. So 4.5 out of 5 from the customer side of things as well. But what is the technology? Why do we have this technology? What does it do? How does it help customers? And that really is what we're here to discuss today. It's a VPN technology that is based on a VPN that was designed many, many years ago. But the VPN is only one part of what it does. It creates a secure connection from a device, and by the device we mean a laptop, a MacBook, an Android phone, or an iOS device, back to a central server, and that allows communication between the device, that central server, and then to the wider internet in a secure fashion. But there is other technology that is built in. But it operates silently in the background and never is designed to get in the way of the end user. For example, if a user is on a particular type of network and they have to move from one network type, like a 4G connection, to a Wi-Fi connection, and they're in the middle of a video call, that transition is smooth. If they are in a session using a back-end piece of software at a head office, and they switch types of connection, or the connection is broken, people can carry on working. You don't need to re-authenticate. You can have it switched on all of the time, or you can have it application specific if you want to. It can be configured depending on what the customer's needs are. For example, if you say that you don't want somebody using Instagram between 8 a.m. in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then you can turn that application off, or you can say they are only allowed to use that application when they're connected to Wi-Fi. Another thing in there might be that people may get disconnected whilst they're doing work, so the ability to let them carry on doing what they're doing and rebuild that connection in the background and give it back to them is really, really important as well. Built around this tunnel, though, is security. Security is important not to an organization, but it's important to users as well. So we have military-grade encryption of all traffic, complete visibility into, if you want it, into where devices might be, how they may be connected, and that becomes really, really important for a lot of organizations. You can imagine somebody in the field phones you up and says, I can't get connected, I have a problem connecting. We have the capability to diagnose the connection from the device to the network to the firewall and back through the system to define what the problem may be and allow the IT department to fix it. So we provide this super smooth experience for users, but we provide IT departments and organizations the data that they need to help those people in the field do what they need to do. As I said, there's policies built in, thousands of policies, thousands of combinations of policies that say you can do this at this time, don't let this happen. For example, a device doesn't connect back to the network for 2 weeks. When it reconnects, you can quarantine that device, you can contact the person, re-authenticate the device to the network, and allow it to have a secure connection. Maybe you want split tunneling. You want certain traffic to use the tunnel, which is corporate traffic, and other traffic, which is non-corporate traffic, like the Facebooks, the Instagrams, and WhatsApp or whatever, to not use the tunnel. So you can have split tunneling built in as well. All of that is possible. You can also start to restrict the type of data people are able to see and access on websites. So in our full product, we contain a technology that allows the ability to set what type of website people are going to. This is based on WebRoot, and allows you to then categorize those websites and then allow you to apply policy. So people may not be able to use certain types of websites. It could be gambling, it could be social media websites, it could be whatever you want it to be. But you, again, can set the policies around that and say you don't want people to be able to see these websites. In that, we have a learning engine that basically then says, okay, well, next time they go to a similar website, it will be added to the list. So we can control that traffic, or rather you can control that traffic. By the way, the technology itself is on-premise, which is really important for the market with the customers, or hosted by our partners like Sentra. That's really important. So you have total control of the data. We do not see, as an organization, any of that data. It is completely resident within the country and within the partner remit. So as I said, complete visibility. You can see some of the charts. You can diagnose those issues really quickly if there's a problem. You can set those policies to optimize traffic. For example, you can say, if bandwidth is X, it's really low, then I want you to close all the other applications and only make these applications send data. So you can maximize the quality of service within the application that is relevant to your business. You can assess the threat levels. You can see where your data is going. So we provide in the full version complete data mapping down to the IP level to see where your data may be going. Is it staying within the country? Is it going outside of the country? If it's going, where is it going? And you can do full resolution of the DNS as well, all the way down to see where that's going to. So in this tunnel that we have, this amazing tunnel, what do we do in this tunnel? So it's not just a normal VPN tunnel. It's much more than that. If you want a normal VPN tunnel, then you can get those for free. This is not the same technology. It's really important to say that. So we have the ability to compress data if it's not compressed already. We have the ability to make the transitions within video calling and audio, for example, like this session today, but also on Teams and in Zoom and on Skype. And we have those videos available for anybody who wants to see them on the website. We can smooth out those because of the way that our technology operates. So if you are on a Zoom call and you move from one Wi-Fi connection to another Wi-Fi connection, or you fall off Wi-Fi and you go to 4G, we have the ability to smoothly move the entire session from one place to another. We can accelerate traffic in some cases, depending on what has been applied as an algorithm already. If it is not working, then we can help in some cases. Although it's not really about speed, it's about the quality of service. I mentioned earlier persistence. Persistence is you're connected, the connection breaks, we keep that connection alive, we reconnect you to the best connection in the background, and you resume what you're doing. We can do this for up to 30 days. In an example of this, you could be watching a movie, you could close your laptop, you could go back 30 days later, and it will carry on from where you left it. So with the ability, very cleverly, to make sure that you stay connected regardless of what your connectivity might be like at the time, and we will make sure we move you to the right connection type. Traffic shaping, the ability to look at the bandwidth that's available, shape the traffic into the right way so it takes advantage of whatever bandwidth that you have to make sure that the important stuff happens between the device and wherever the device data is going to. Link layer optimizations is the ability to, as I said, if you're going back to audio video optimizations, to kind of fill in some of the frames to be able to make that whole appearance really, really smooth. Quality of service really relates to shaping of traffic, but the ability to make sure that the data that you send gets to the end, that it maximizes the bandwidth that's there, and also you put in policies in place to make sure that only the important things get done at the right time. You can select certain applications to work over others. As I said, you can do split tunneling, so you can say that you want your SAP applications or your own applications to work in restricted bandwidth areas. And last but not least is seamless roaming. Seamless roaming is the ability to take somebody from one connection type to another connection type to another connection type without breaking their connectivity or breaking the work that they are doing at the time. So if you are filling in a form and you're doing that on 4G and you arrive at a restaurant, you've been there before and you connect to the Wi-Fi, normally you would require some kind of authentication. We can manage that authentication for you so that you can carry on working. In the background, we can connect you and you can still carry on and you would never know. We have millions of people using this every single day. The feedback is phenomenal. It is so well loved as a technology purely for that reason alone. The deployment is really, really simple, and this is where our partners really come into it, like Sentra. You can get 100% adoptability from the field by installing this, and there's numbers of ways to install that. So whether you're using an existing MDM solution or UEM solution to push it down, you can customers can download it or clients can download it from the App Store and then initiate a connection to the server. You can send out an email with preset configurations, or you can, as I said, you can log into the server with your credentials and download it from there. Really simple, not very complex at all. So you may be asking, well, you know, why this VPN? There's lots of VPNs out there. You know, there's lots of stuff available from various companies. There's VPNs available which are free. So why this? Because this is not a legacy VPN technology. It's VPN which has been supercharged for today, and especially with given COVID and all the other things that are going on. You know, when your workforce moves from the four walls of an office to working from home, suddenly you have devices on networks that you have no control over, using applications that you don't have any control over. And that's where any organization would need to put a policy in place to make sure they have still some element of control. And that is really, really important. So yes, all VPNs will provide you some level of security. But when it comes to things like session persistence, putting policies around the connection, the ability to see what's going on and if there's any problems, to diagnose those problems, to optimize the traffic depending on the bandwidth that's available, to remotely deploy these in central enterprise fashion as companies want to, and to be able to make things like video chat, which is becoming more and more important, better, then that's what Netmotion's VPN only piece does. How it works, you have the Netmotion app on one side, you have the secure high performance tunnel going back to the Netmotion server, which will be with our partners, will be in-house, or could be hosted by our partners in AWS or Azure if you wanted to, and then you would give access to those various applications out as well. It works over all types, so obviously Wi-Fi, you know, you can use the Wi-Fi in the restaurant, or you know, it will function in airplane mode if you needed to, or on airlines as well, and obviously 3, 4, 5G really makes no difference on that connection type. So that's the core functionality, just the pure VPN. Now, if you really want to see what is going on with those devices and how people are using them and how much data are they using and what problems you might have and the analysis around that, then the product it has a complete version which allows you to see some of the data. So network diagnostics, policy controls, and intelligence. So now you have all these people who are working remotely for you over these networks on devices that you don't own, across networks that you don't control. Suddenly you as an organization would require some insight. You know, where is my data going? Who is using all my bandwidth? If I have a data cap or a data agreement, a pooled data agreement with Avaya or with Turkcell, then, you know, is there somebody who's using a lot of data in one case and other people not using enough? Again, you can see that coming through on our products as well. And in all of that, you'll see all those elements I talked about: the app tunnel persistence, compression, the optimization, the roaming, and all those elements are built into that core tunnel. So just some real kind of case studies and the kind of organizations that we work with. So in this one, shipping and logistics. So we work with a lot of port companies. We work with a lot of transport and logistics companies, as you know, and this is really important to the business. But in these cases, when we've spoken to customers and got feedback, we can save between 22 and 30 minutes a day, because by improving their connectivity, we know that from the data that we collect, back from our own systems, and our customers collect from the systems as well. The ability to drop some, certain things at certain places to make sure they're connected, and the ability to then send that data back so they can do more. So you may not be saving minutes, but you may be able to do more in some cases, which is just as great. Utilities, so gas companies, electric companies, those kind of things, the ability in this case to see what is going on those devices, where people are very remote, where there is poor connectivity. People say they can't get connected, they can't do what they need to do. The ability to diagnose some of those issues, okay, and be able to fix some of those problems while people are there in the field are just as important. 31% reduction in this case in tickets coming through from people with devices saying, I can't do this, I can't connect, I can't get the data, I can't see the schematic, I can't see the technical data. So that's what we help to do in this case. Transportation, again, another one. So we work, for example, with Frankfurt Airport and a number of other airports around the world, where we provide end-to-end solutions for all of the people around the airport. So whether you are what we call under the wing or over the wing, the technology is there. The ability, in this case, the project started from baggage handlers who were so far away from the terminals that they couldn't get communications to let people who were managing the aircraft know when the baggage was coming, and they could do the turnaround. And turnaround is really, really important. If you know Turkish Airlines, or you know any of the airlines, you know that turnaround is one of the biggest cost factors in the airline business. Certainly right now, where we have so little traffic, this has become more and more important. The ability to turn around an aircraft in the smallest amount of time and get it back in the air is becoming more and more important. So if we can help that, we can help people communicate, switch them from 4G and 5G to see data and make sure they are able to get the communication they need to other people, becomes really, really important. So I talked about the kind of sectors that we kind of work with. So energy, transport, field services, healthcare, government are all great sectors for us. But apart from that, we work very strongly in finance and in legal. Those are really two great opportunities for us. And in the military, obviously, given the encryption levels that we have to have, need to communicate from the field out to other people, that becomes more and more important as well. If anybody wants any details on some of these case studies, then please speak to the Sentra team. They'll be able to provide you with some of that information as well. But also, some of you might be thinking, well, hang on a minute, some of this stuff is done by EMM or UEM. And you saw some of the slides right at the beginning. Sentra have a very good knowledge of these technologies, and they work with some key partners like Citrix, like VMware, and those things are really, really important. So how do we kind of work with those kind of solutions? So we work very well with those. I am ex-Mobile Iron. I am ex-Citrix Mobility for Europe. So I know the technologies really, really well. So Netmotion, so where EMM is really good is the ability to deploy applications to devices, to configure the device settings and the controls on the device, and to remotely wipe the data if you need to. But where we're different is, when you want to have a secure tunnel from that device, where you want to make sure that, we take advantage of the network to make sure that, people can work quickly and get the data that they need done. Apply specific policy controls for application usage and for web access, and provide you back analytics around what people are doing on these devices, and do some of the connectivity stuff is where we really are different from the EMM field. So an example would be, for Netmotion, how much employees are using Facebook and which networks are they using on, and the volume of data may be around that. And for EMM, it will be around who has Facebook installed on their devices. that's the difference in the kind of thing. We control what's already there. EMM will allow you to find out what's there in the first place. And then you might be thinking, well, hang on a minute, given the level of security that we provide as a solution, then what about mobile threat defense? And again, you saw some of the organizations that provide that earlier in the slide sets from Sentra as well. So, the differences are real, right? So they are a proxy and application-based technology. We're a VPN. They really are about on-device risk and malware threats. We're really about network performance connectivity. So we sit in a different place from MTD. People buy MTD because they want to be protected against malware. People buy us because they want to make sure that their devices are performing, that when they're connected to networks, that they're not dropping their connections, and that they don't lose any data when they're trying to do some work from the field and connecting back. And our organizations and our partners and our customers really want the intelligence to see where that data is going, who's using it, and when are they using it. So that really sums up what we do as an organization. So I'm going to hand this back to the team for any questions that they might have. So Osman, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ayçi.
No problem. Any questions from anybody?
A couple of questions. Yeah, I will ask you, Ayçi. First question, how is the Netmotion bandwidth consumption? Is there?
Sorry, how is the
network bandwidth consumption?
Sure. It's
and if so, is there any ratio?
We do have I don't have them. We do have scientific ratios. Obviously, that depends on a number of things. It depends on the data. It depends on the network itself. But the overhead, yes, absolutely, there is an overhead, but it is negligible. So as you noticed, we make optimizations around speed and connectivity where we can. So we actually enhance that. But yes, there is an overhead, there is a ratio, but it is very, very small. If anybody wants to know the details, the technical papers are available on our website. It's an open website, so you can see that. So.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Is there bounding solution embedded with the product? For example, is it calculate the network quality and change the network automatically the best quality between cellular, Wi-Fi, or hotspot?
So yeah, so on the device, the technology will attempt to create the best connection for you. So if you are if your 4G connection is failing and there is a better Wi-Fi connection available, then the system that can be configured to automatically switch you to the fastest or best network automatically. So also it can, as I said, with the session persistence, if it falls off a network, it can let you to work in the background and connect you to the right type. So there is the intelligence built in to move you to the best available network that is available to you at the time.
Thank you. The next question. Is supply tunneling works for all applications on the device? For example, have SAP Fiori application, and when I connect to the internet URL with this application, is Netmotion notice that and starts the VPN tunnel automatically? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can set, there's thousands of rules you can set. So that's a great example. So you could set the tunnel to be application specific. You can say that when this application starts, then fire up the tunnel immediately, or you can have the tunnel permanently on for all applications. Absolutely down to the company to do that.
Okay, thank you. One more question.
Yeah.
Actually, you said in your presentation EMM and Netmotion.
Yeah.
Does the customer, does the company need EMM for Netmotion, or Netmotion vice versa?
No, absolutely not. No, it doesn't need any of that. So no, I mean, that is really the fact that we actually work with those organizations, but you do not need it to be present to have Netmotion working. We have 1,000 companies who are using the most basic EMM, or in some cases no EMM, especially when it comes to BYOD devices, because it's sometimes very hard to use that.
Sorry, the question is not this. Will EMM help Netmotion?
Will EMM
or Netmotion help EMM solutions?
Yes, it can. So yes, in some cases it can. So for example, with Mobile Iron, we are an option within Mobile Iron. You can have the standard tunnel that Mobile Iron provide, or you can have a more secure tunnel, application specific from us, and that is built in to Mobile Iron's technology. If you also look at Microsoft Intune, we've just done a press study with us, a press release with them around how we work together and complement each other as well. So yes, we can work with it. We don't have to, but we can, absolutely. And we can make it better.
Okay, thank you. Abdurrahman, is there any other question?
Osman, just a quick one. I don't know if you want me to show us something about the console. Do you want a quick
Of course, we have time, please.
Okay, let me show you that. Let me know when you can see my screen. You can see this,
yeah,
right? So,
we can.
Thank you. So as I said earlier, so the technology is in two parts. There's the core technology, which is just the VPN and the policy controls, and there's complete, which is everything else and includes some of the data elements. So I really wanted to show you this. This is quite interesting. So just a couple of screens here. So let's just go to performance. And here we can see a, let's go to network health. So this is just a demo system for everybody. So this tells me right at the beginning, at the moment we have 1,751 connections that were broken and that have been fixed, but the trending is going down at the moment. This just shows you all of the devices that we've saved and who have dropped connections. We've had 210 network failures that we've helped to fix. There's been 5 in the last hour in this case. But if I go through, this is for the last 24 hours, if I go through to network bandwidth, you can see things like this. So show me, so these carriers are not real carriers, obviously, but you can see in the last 24 hours which of the carriers have been performing. But you can dig down into Wi-Fi bandwidth as well. You can see where people have been connected to Wi-Fi and what that's meant. Here you can see the BSSID of various connections. So if you are an organization that has maybe a lot of access points and everybody's on Wi-Fi, so this will allow you to analyze some of that data. You can see diagnostic reports for people as well. So you can see, so, you know, in the last 24 hours, you know, some have had warnings, some have failed, some have passed. Here you can see where most of the problems have come from. And here you can see some of the last few people where it's failed the most as well. So that's just an example of some of the performance tests. And there's hundreds of these. But maybe you want to look at threat defense and you want to look at where your traffic is going to. So this can be drilled down to a country level, to a city level. So here's an example. So in this case, you can see where the data flows are currently within our organization. You can see the applications which are sending that data, but you want to see something live. Then we can take some of that data and plot it for you in a live session. So here you can see data flows currently, and you can see the applications that are being used. You can drill in. So here we can do something around network usage. So let's see some network usage. Let's see how our users are using the data that's available to them, right? So here are the devices. We have, 19% connected over cellular, some over Ethernet, most over Wi-Fi. Here you can see the traffic trends. You can see the types of devices and how much data they are using. You can see who those users are. And if you want to, and this is entirely down to the organization, you can drill down a little bit further into that. Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, you can see those kind of, and here you can see this is the Windows device. You know, this is running this version of the software, and you can see on this person, for example, you know, traffic destinations, where have they been sending their traffic, right? So you can see huge amounts of detail around groups of people and users themselves. So we want to see where our devices are. Where are our devices? Where in the world are they? So we can see here that we have 86 devices, 62 running mobility, some running diagnostics. You can see where those devices might be. And you can drill down. So let's move this out. 2 in London, we've got 2 in Germany. We have a German team at the moment, obviously. So again, you can see huge amounts of data. You can see where users are. Who are your users? And you can see what kind of devices they're using, how those devices are connecting. Again, you know, huge amounts of detail here you can see. So just to give you guys a feel of what the technology is able to show, and you know the level of detail that you can see from what we can do. As you can see from this front page, there is a number of reports that you can use. And you can build those reports. You can export that data into your own systems if you need to as well. But yeah, huge amounts of detail that you can see from what we do. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Aichi. Any other question,
Sure.
Abdurrahman?
No, there is another question.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aichi, for your presentation. That was wonderful and fancy screens. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Herkese teşekkür ediyoruz katılım için. İyi günler diliyoruz. Son bir şey söylemem lazım. Bu webinarın kaydını tahmin ediyorum yarın, en geç yarın Sentra'nın YouTube kanalından izleyebilirsiniz tekrarına. Teşekkür ediyoruz.